It's the 1st of January and it's that time of year again where everyone starts setting New Year's resolutions. Now, I'm not against New Year's resolutions, they have just never ever worked for me. I remember reading an article many years ago about setting intentions instead, and since then it's stuck with me and it's worked, because you set a New Year's resolution and as soon as New Year's is out of mind, so is the New Year's resolution. So here's what I do instead and how I stick to it, how I can focus on it and how I can actually bring it to fruition rather than it lasting until halfway through January and just ending up on a pile with everything else. The first thing I do is look at what I want to achieve throughout the year and then I put it into kind of categories. So I've got 4 categories this year. I had 4 last year and I've ended up with 4 again this year. Now they're very broad because I don't want to set anything too specific. For example, my first intention of the year is to have a healthy mind and body. Now I could kind of condense it all the way down to, for example, I'm going to be healthy by cutting out oil. Right, okay. Well, personally, that is going to go one of 2 ways. It will either go the way of I go out with friends, I have something that ends up with oil in it, I've broken that New Year's resolution, what's the point? I'll just give up. So while you might have failed on that one time of giving up oil, you may have spent the rest of the month eating fruit and vegetables, you haven't had a cookie, you haven't had any refined sugar or cakes. But because you failed on that one thing that you're focusing on, you feel like you failed. When you haven't, you've done all these incredible things. Otherwise, it's just this one small part you failed on. And by looking at it on a broader spectrum, you can see how you are achieving it, how all these good things you're doing, rather than focusing on that one thing that you may be brilliant at, but also you might fail at. And that's going to make you feel terrible compared to what you've actually done. The second one is I'll ace it. And that's it. Like, I don't really use oil to begin with, so I'm wasting an entire year of focus and intention on something that I can easily do. So I would rather have something broad so that if I fail at it, I have the opportunity to go, right, I've failed at it, but I can modify it and achieve it another way, or I've aced this, what more can I do? What can I do to improve on top of that? So as I've just mentioned, my first intention for the year ahead is to have a healthy mind and body. Now, the first way I'm going to approach this, so for January, my way to approach this is to get back into my yoga and into meditation. So at this time last year, I was going to yoga lessons. I had this practice set up. I was really going for it, and then everything just fell apart. We had people staying with us, followed by people staying with us, followed by people staying with us. I didn't have the space to do it, and with such a prolonged time of not being able to practice, it's just gone completely out the window, and I've spent most of the year trying and failing to get back into it. So my first thing for my first intention for January is to get back into my yoga practice and to include the meditation in that so that I can improve my physical and mental well-being. There are other aspects to this, like eating well will also improve those things, as will other forms of exercise. These are things that I've been working on over the last year anyway, so it's not so much that they're taking a back seat, it's that I'm continuing with those, but my main focus is getting that yoga practice back up and running so I can get the habit going and then I can move on to another thing in February. My second intention of the year is to make the most of my free time. I am in the fortunate position that I work 3 days a week, which means I have 4 days a week off. I don't do anywhere near as much as I should with those 4 days. I'm so fortunate to have that free time and I waste it. I really waste it. So that is my second intention, to make the most of those 4 days because there is so much I can do with that time. The way I'm going to tackle that in January is to try and get into a routine. I am terrible at getting into routines. As soon as we go away on holiday or we go and do anything, it just goes completely in the air and I lose where I'm going. So we are going to Amsterdam this month. So that is going to be the challenge. It's to get into a routine despite going away and not let that completely throw me. My third intention for the year is minimalist. I don't quite know how else to describe it. I'm not that bad. I don't have a lot of things. I've been working over the last year of cutting things back. But I really want to focus on it this year. I want to reduce, reuse and recycle stuff. I've got a lot of stuff kicking about still, and I want to make the most of it. So what I'm trying to do is just be more minimalist this year. My downfall is multi-buying things. For example, in the cupboard I have got sun-dried tomatoes. They were in Lidl. They're going to be in Lidl again, but I bought 4 bags of the things. I've still got 3 of them sitting in the cupboard. Yes, I use them. They're not going to go to waste, but they're taking up a lot of space while they're not being used. So this month, January, this is going to be my focus, is to stop multi-buying things or bulk buying things. And we'll see how that goes. My 4th and final intention for the year is to be financially mindful. I like to think that I'm good with money. I've done a post before about how I deal with my finances, and I do think I'm pretty good with money. However, there's a few things that I want to do this year. One of them is working on paying off the mortgage. I am again in the very fortunate position of I reached 30 without having a loan, a credit card or a mortgage. Technically it's still correct because the mortgage is in Leo's name, not mine. I'm going to cling to that. But at the same time, I want to get this thing paid off as quickly as possible because then it reduces the pressure on Leo. It means we have more free money. So this month's going to be interesting. Obviously January's a long month, so I don't know how far my pay is going to stretch, but this is going to be an intention that I'm going to have to visit every month because each month is going to be financially different. But for this month, for example, we've obviously had Christmas. Now we had, my nan gave us money and Leo's parents gave us money. And what we've done with that is we have split it in 2. So half of the money has gone on the mortgage and half of it we're going to transfer into foreign currency for the year ahead for our holidays. So that way it's not going in an account and it's not getting wasted. So we're being financially mindful with that money. The same as when we went to Paris in December, we were delayed 3 hours. So we got some compensation from EasyJet. That's found money. So that is going straight on the mortgage because we weren't expecting it. Not every month is going to be like this. January is going to be very different. So this is something I'm going to have to keep in mind so that I'm not buying things without thinking about it. I'm not spending money without thinking about it. So that is my plan for January, to be more mindful, to plan ahead so I don't have to buy things that are expensive when I could have planned ahead and bought it cheaper somewhere else. And we'll see how that goes, and we'll revisit it in February to see how I'm going to approach it then instead. So that's everything for January. I'm going to revisit these intentions every month so that I have the chance to update them, evolve them, change them so that I'm continually growing with them and meeting those goals. I'm continually making changes and bringing on positive changes through these kind of mini goals. So I will get back to you in February and let you know how this has gone, and also let you know how I intend to approach this along in February. What are your goals for the new year? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe so that you can see how these intentions go and what happens throughout 2018.